just how to get the R's or something. As you may have noticed, whenever we go to the fancy, hey, look at the team building menu, there's a missing spot. I'm going to read this right now. The R is the final missing piece. I know you're all shocked and mad at me for saying that.
Shocked to discover that there is a missing piece.
Yeah. I hate Liara.
Luckily, we're sticking with Tali forever! Charlie, explain what's happening right now.
So we're on the star map right now. It's this kind of funky navigation system. So here's the one issue. If you go to Codex where the missions are, it'll tell me which one of those little clusters I want to go to. It's a real flaw of this game. Okay. There's someone. Okay, this is hardest tablets. So to go back into this and actually talk you guys through it. So this is the star map. This is where we are right now. We're at the Citadel. We'll zoom out into a larger cluster in space for one. The Citadel's location. This is your star section, pretty much where you have nebula. You have the Milky Way zone. And then you have each one of these as a cluster. This one, which turns out nebula. So then we're going to search these 4 planets, these 4 systems, for
Okay. So, that's interesting.
yeah.
That you don't just end up there.
Well, so this is an RPG. There's a lot of choice in planets you can go to, and I think it's 1 or 2 things per solar system can be landed on and explored some. Generally, it's not much on the side, but for the most part, they're not super important. For the most part.
I do really enjoy the notion of sort of the whiplash.
Oh yeah, the catapult.
Yeah.
No! It's on the back button.
Oh no, guys. We're gonna end up in Interstellar. Ah.
I was never interested in that.
Guys, we're gonna get hit by waves! Space waves!
Oh, I occasionally wish. So actually one of the few things I didn't like from the transition from the first game to the second game was they simplify a lot of this process. Not necessarily in a bad way, but they kind of, I wish, they kept some of the space exploration moments. Because for better or worse, this is pretty Star Trek at this point. It's kind of nice.
I was gonna say there is a...
This is the other issue with this system. Every time you go to a different cluster, you have to load.
Well, avoiding pop-ins, Charlie. Avoiding pop-ins.
It's a star map. There shouldn't be any pop-ins.
Watch it.
This is the simplest part of the entire game, and they can't get this part right.
Now it is interesting that all of these systems have briefings.
I think sticking with the tradition of what we named our system essentially was the idea they went through. And not all of them do it correctly, just a large majority. And it's in this game, this is known space, this is human space for lack of better phrase, this is shared space. There are species I forget that exist outside of what's considered civilized space, outside the majority of the Milky Way, if that makes any sense. And those are the dangerous ones. For instance, the second game is all about a Mass Effect relay that will take you outside normal space.
Well, I think that's a really common sci-fi trope, is that notion of frontier, which is what Firefly goes for a lot.
Well, I'm not sorry. What's the premise of Star Trek? I'm hoping no one has gone before.
Well, but the interesting thing about Star Trek, in contrast, is that it's a much more sophisticated notion of frontier, I would say. Like, the idea of the Prime Directive is sort of the opposite of the way that the frontier was actually settled. In terms of human history. Generally, a bunch of white people showed up and fought with the natives and took their stuff. Yeah.
Just hoping this is the right way.
Going down in our space tank! Space tank! Woo!
This is the Mako.
Do you guys miss my singing voice?
Commander, I'm picking up some strange readings. Really strange, like off the damn charts. It looks like it's coming from an underground complex a few clicks away from the drop zone.
Right planet.
Whoa! No! Don't follow the lava!
Yeah. The Mako is all kinds of special and not necessarily in a good way.
It's like an adorable Mars rover.
Yeah, it's kind of the most normal spectrum. Might be more accurate than looking at it. This is one of the segments of the game that I was kind of happy they got rid of. Because I know some people were huge fans of these segments. I personally hate them. I think it handles poorly, and there's not enough options to make it itself. And it just kind of equates to driving around occasionally poorly textured, not even fully textured environments, waiting for something to attack. Like in this case.
Let's say, so what are we? We've got our lava hazards.
Yep.
Um,
Well, so in order to Geth are kind of living robots. Well, the Geth aren't constrained to human size, technically.
okay, so they've developed other kinds, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
That's the Geth ship right there.
Oh, hell. Ah. That's no fun at all.
It's not.
So, for those of you, love the insect.
Yeah, the Geth are great. The Geth
Really
are some of
creepy.
my favorites. And the Geth come in a variety of cool shapes and sizes, not just generic soldier Geth and common cross.
Well, it's nice that we're not getting sort of and we've talked about this a little bit about the notion of like why are all aliens humanoid, especially in live action stuff, is because makeup is more expensive and animatronics are expensive.
Well, yeah, and so for its worth, the Orions are actually the ones that built the
Only
Geth.
a fool
And
punches
they
a man.
share a lot of similarities
We should sneak around and pull its
with the
tail.
Geth. Are very Orion-like. Kali's Orion.
So Rex is like, don't attack it directly, man. We attacking it directly. That's cool.
I know what.
Can you jump missiles now? So you want to go that way.
You have to do it this way.
Ah.
As much as I enjoy making fun of it at this point, we also refer to any choice in this game as, yes, we acted like we didn't have to go this way, we also kind of lied.
Yeah, so the illusion of,
Yes.
ah, little turtle!
Does not get stuck in it.
Better than Mars rover.
Somewhere that's a giant kid.
I was gonna say, yeah, the scale of that seemed off, but it's
No, it's
not.
literally a giant gap.
You want to drive over them.
And
Whee! Ah.
yes, that is how bad the tank controls are.
Instead, Charlie's like, let's get out of the tank
And
now.
go fight things that are obviously meant to be fought in a tank on foot.
Really enjoy that.
So they've actually touched on a little bit so far in this game, but the whatchamacallits, the Protheans they keep mentioning. This is a Talia is on Talia?
Tali.
Liara, my bad, wrong name entirely, is only on this planet because she's an expert in their stuff. And she's here researching them. And as has been kind of hinted a couple of times, they are this badass super race that came before everyone else and is kind of vanished.
Very much enjoyed Polly being like, we are in the middle of the fight! We're endangering our lives!
An issue with this game is occasionally the game will think you're in a fight or think you're not in a fight when you actually are armed. It's quite annoying. This is the only one that actually has a way to toggle in and out of combat. The other two are kind of, are you in an RPG setting or are you in not an RPG setting? Oh crap. Remember when I said there was, you had to open that anyway? That was wrong. You have to go around anyway. No, they're... Right, you can't close it after it's been opened. Stupid.
Get back in the game.
Yeah, but also just most part. Not technically there's some stuff to sell.
What stuff?
I promise I will not have the fantastic micromanagement of the equipment that goes on in this game as part of the videos, because it is godforsakenly boring to min-max some of these pieces of gear.
So what is that? Is that system like that stuff gets leveled up separately?
No,
Or
it is
components
all
added?
item driven. You are constantly swapping out guns for better gear, and you're swapping out upgrades for guns and stuff like that at any point in time. Yeah. So as you can see, they're shooting at the turret through a wall.
It's cool.
Yeah. That's exactly as 15 when it comes to climbing stuff.
Like running into walls is fun. Whoa!
Yep.
It ran. I do enjoy how sort of weirdly bottom heavy Polly is. That's the last
I'll take a look at it quickly. Yeah, she's humanish but not superhuman.
Yeah, there's something interesting about that there. It's just a little bit sort of foreign, especially to the way that all our human ladies have been built.
Yeah. Well, there's Rex, who's just kind of mountain-ish.
I enjoy it. So the cool thing about it being a Mars rover thing, though, is it does give us an interesting idea of how these things are built from an engineering perspective.
How do you get to that point?
Well, because here's the thing, right? Is that like people since the beginning of the space race, one of the big problems has always been what do you do when you don't have the resources to fix something, right? So you have to think of what is the most structurally viable model for motion that humans have created. And that's the thing about most Mars rovers, or just rovers that we see in general in terms of terrain vehicles for extraterrestrial exploration, is they tend to have a lot of tiny wheels.
I'm gonna stop you right here because the second game is wrapped.
Well, in the future, we can have hovercrafts.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it is very Mars inspired. And the issue is it's got the limitation of being both tank and Mars rover at the same time. Like, actually, at least it happened at the recording. We landed a probe on a comet recently, Europe, America's the
Yeah, we don't fund space exploration anymore, guys. That's not okay.
Which is space exploration was awesome. It's not massive.
Well, it does create a really interesting question, because if it was that we were reprioritizing to look at like oceans, like we've explored like 2% of the ocean. Like there's so much stuff in the ocean that we know nothing about, and I think that's what the disappearance of that airplane sort of taught us. Was like in searching for it, we were sitting there being like, we haven't mapped the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, it's true.
How did that happen?
It's
Like,
true.
we should have gotten on that. So much
You
so
think
that
we'd have
stuff,
done that by now?
yeah, so much so that stuff was literally, they were taking satellite photos, and people were sort of crowdfunding that exploration. You could tag stuff, and other people would agree with your tags or not, and then that stuff would be sent to the salvage teams. It's really, really interesting. It's the same technology that they use to actually scour the wilderness to look for children. They're dogs. This is so cool. I'm a huge fan of this. I wish I could remember the name of the website. But I was obsessed with it. Something like that. No, it's like it's a very weird. But
Right,
it's
because
made.
Google's not.
Well, now it's a verb and a noun. But the whole idea of the technology is the idea of you have 2,000 eyes looking at once rather than a sophisticated, like how sophisticated can a program be, as opposed to basically crowdsourcing that search effort.
No, computers are only so powerful.
Well, human eyes by themselves aren't, but when you
It's
sort of
different
when you get the aggregate number, you sort of get it even. The interesting thing too about the main enemy that we're looking at being death is that in some ways, in theory anyway, we avoid that what I consider to be a major video game problem, which is that idea of how am I killing this many people?
Oh,
I
no,
feel like
death
a
is
bad
super
person.
tragic.
Aw.
The story. I'm not sure if I have a couple theories about the Geth I can go into in later games, but I think the Geth were designed in the first game to be kind of this generic, yeah, it's okay to kill an enemy, and then people thought they were really cool, and as a result, they're like, well, crap, we can flesh them out some more. The story of the Geth, I know I'm probably being a tad unfair. I am 99% sure is not as straightforward as this game wants you to believe it is with some frequency. It's a pretty tragic story by the final game.
Well, and I think that's part of the point, and it goes into a problem that a lot of more down to earth games get into, which is if you're looking at something like the Far Cry series or something like the reboot of Tomb Raider. You get into this situation where you have characters that are like, I'm reluctant to kill people. It's like, you killed 700 people!
That's fair, actually, yeah.
Like, you are a monster!
And it's a joke we made in a couple of videos on Watchdog. Me and Jim were playing that kept making jokes about how he appears is in fact a monster and really is stop.
Well, and I think that's what one of the things that, as far as like compulsive or Mass Effect is doing as well, is that one, we're able to lay the groundwork that she's killed before, that she's comfortable killing.
Well, and that's the thing. You start off as a soldier. You're not every man. You are Shepard, Commander Shepard. You've risen to military rank, and not to ruin speeches that the military does. The military's job is killing people.
Well, I'm not gonna do Your job is to fix guns.
They do some other things.
Yes.
Buy a lot of guns.
But I think that is an interesting question because, there's a lot of sort of survival-based games that are more about, in theory, about watching somebody become a badass. But the problem is that if you as the player think of yourself as a badass during most of it, you can't be panicking. And I think that was one of the things that we ran into when moving around with Far Cry 3 was the notion that Zach Braff, was so freaked out by what we were doing, and Charlie's just very casually blowing everybody up.
And the fact that he's not freaking out when you blow someone up, he's freaking out in scripted points in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. Is the question of, in the same way that when you're designing a game, you want the
Little
story
boss
time
fight for you.
kids.
I think I'm woefully under-equipped to deal with.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Hey friend. Ah. Hey friend.
Yep, you get to fight that on foot.
Whoa.
Wow.
Ah.
That was insta-kill.
That was sinister.
We're gonna back up a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We start all the way back here. Really. Right, I forgot about this. Forgot about this part of the game.
So depending where we can save right beforehand.
It is!
So note to self, friends.
We're not gonna talk now as I power through this. We'll cut right to it.
Bye, friends.